You guys, we just went to a Josie and the Pussycats concert. What? That was so awesome. Give it up one more time for the band. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Jared Weissman. I have loved this movie, like all of you, for 16 years. Yes. And like many other people in the world, we knew it was amazing at the time. We knew it was brilliant at the time. We knew the soundtrack was amazing at the time. And that's what we're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate Josie and the Pussycats. We're here to celebrate, yes, that's right. We're here to celebrate the people who created it, the people who starred in it, the people who scored it. So, you don't want to look at me anymore. Let's get some more important people out here. Guys, first up, we have the film's writers and directors, Deborah, Kaplan, and Henri, Elfont. Please welcome back to the stage the singing voice of Josie, Hanley. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands for Reid. And last but not least, she's our punk rock prom queen, Rachel Leigh Cook. Guys, give it up for Josie and the Pussycats. I mean, this is so cool. Okay, first thing, I just have to ask, I mean, that was the first time this music has ever been performed live like that. What was going through everybody's mind, like watching the audience lose their shit?
Tears, crying, feelings in my tender heart. I was honored enough to be next to Rachel when we watched it. And all these flashbacks came back really fast. And we just knew every lyric. We were dancing to it. I mean, we were dancing in the hallways. Everyone was dancing with us. And you guys are incredible. And thank you all for being here. And this is awesome.
And I have to, a special shout out to all the grown men in cat ears that I saw in the audience.
Can we actually just take them, everyone who's wearing cat ears right now, stand up. I mean, look at that. That is awesome. Deb, I mean, how odd is it to be here 16 years later and have a theater of people screaming for like this rock show, film, and concert that we just all experienced?
I took Jason Sutter's broken drumstick.
You wanna
I think we should also, okay, so we're going to get some merchandise from tonight signed by some of the people in the band, and we're gonna auction it off for hurricane relief. So I'm gonna also
add it to the
hand over my broken, because it's got his name on it.
I like it.
It says Jason Sutter on it, and it's broken because he played so hard.
Deb Kaplan
and
gets
the hair.
things done.
I don't know whose hair this is, but I'll leave it on.
Thank you. I feel like Harry Potter gave me his wand. I'm gonna hang on to it.
Okay.
But I mean, talk about like the surreal feelings that are happening right now for you guys.
It's pretty surreal. I mean, we were back in the wings watching the band play Spin Around. I mean, I hadn't watched the movie in probably since it came out, but I showed it to my daughters for the first time Friday, and I just watched that scene where they're playing Spin Around, and they're in the wings watching them play. Sorry, Kay, I almost poked you in the eye. And it is surreal. It is surreal, and the fact, I mean, this is more people than showed up opening weekend to see the movie.
That is true.
Actually, at the end of the movie, when we shot our huge scene, when we came out, it was like the band, and we were in Vancouver, and the stage came up, and we had everyone. I think we had more people here right now than we did extras.
And we had to promise one of them a car at the end. So joke's on you guys.
Actually?
Yes, you guys gave away a car.
You did.
I think we did give away a car.
Nobody wins a car.
That's why we filled the stadium so fast, you guys.
That's amazing. But you know what's so interesting is the film that we've all come to know and love sort of wasn't your initial vision for what Josie could be. You guys kind of went through a couple different iterations of what you thought the movie could be when you were writing the script at first, right?
I'm gonna pass that to Harry because since I had children, I can't remember anything.
Perfect.
Well, when they came to us and said, we have Josie and the Pussycats, would you like to make a Josie and the Pussycats movie? And we said, no, that sounds really silly. And they asked again, and we said, no, seriously. And then we realized, this is a movie about a band. We can make a musical, which is you couldn't really do ever, really. So we could make an original movie musical, and then we thought, okay, let's really think about this. And the thing I remembered as a kid was Josie and the Pussycats, the cartoon show, and it was Josie and the Pussycats in outer space. Right, exactly.
Shout out to Gleep.
So we thought, perfect, Josie and the Pussycats in outer space. And that lasted for about 10 minutes, and we thought, that's crazy.
So we love a space opera more than anyone.
It's not gonna happen, but we will act it out for you right now.
No, we won't.
So then we started thinking, okay, it's a musical, we should do something music related. And it just came up that we were very aware of what was going on in pop music at the time. It seemed like people were being brainwashed to just sugary pop, and it seemed very manufactured, and we kind of grew up in the age of, rock, and you were supposed to be grunge, and you were supposed to be authentic, and we thought, well, that's what the story should be. It should be about people who kind of get swept up in this machine, and then we thought of the brainwashing and the subliminal messages, and then it went out to all the product placement, and it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Rachel, Tara, I want to ask you, this is an incredibly sort of subversive film in a lot of ways. It's one thing on the surface and so much more beneath that. What do you remember about either reading the script or sort of starting to think about this project when it first came to you?
At the time when this is years ago, let's remember. But at the time, I just did American Pie, and I got a 3-picture deal. So this was my second movie on it. It was Josie and the Pussycats. And I remember reading the script thinking, wow, this is so cool. I'm going to be a rock star. This is amazing. And then I read Melody, and she was the happiest girl on earth, but kind of psychic and really smart. So I thought, wow, this is the best. And then they had Rachel attached, and then you guys got Rosario, and then I met them, and we had our little team together. And as we were shooting it, there's times in a movie you never know what's gonna, obviously, if we're talking about Sharknado, we never thought that would be a hit. So there's time in life you think, this is the one. And I thought Josie was that for us. And then what I realized that at the time that we were ahead of our times. No one realized it was before Facebook, Instagram, anything. So when we were giving subliminal messages and we were giving all the information, no one got it just then. If we put out the movie now, I think it'd be a whole different story. But to be here right now with the most creative people that created the story, and with Rachel, both you guys, I'm so happy to be a part of this movie. And this is, out of all the movies I've ever made, this is my favorite one.
Rachel, what did you like about Josie?
First of all, I love these people. I love you guys so much. I'm not gonna cry. And the reason that a movie like this
Rachel's amazing.
gets to call itself ahead of its time is because of you guys.
That's true.
Not in the plan.
I got goosebumps.
My big, I find you most agreeable as well. My primary memory of this is just what an amazing time I had with these incredible people, and I think Deb and Harry are incredible visionaries that they were given the very two-dimensional world of Riverdale. And I was a big fan of the Archie comics growing up, so amazing, right? Now that was, good solid love triangle, that you can't go wrong with that. But this world, it needed so much more. And it needed so much more, not on a little bit of an extra level. It needed so much more. And that's where Deb and Harry were just like, what can we say about what's going on right now? Let's take this so much further. And you guys did. And I would be terrified to watch absolutely any other movie I've ever been in, probably.
By the way,
except
none
for
of us have watched this movie right now for 17 years.
So sorry for that very long.
No, I think we're all crying on some level somewhere in our soul tonight, so it's fine. It's okay. Well, I want to ask you guys, obviously, I think you ended up with the perfect 3 actors to play Josie and the Pussycats, but I mean, but you guys looked. I mean, you had large casting, and I mean, there was a couple of other people who came in for these roles initially before you found your 3.
But it was an empty exercise, really.
Although we got to meet a marginally talented young girl named Beyonce, but whatever. She probably did all right for herself. Yeah, there was a weird list of people who came in for Val, and we went back and sort of looked through our casting sheets when Mondo was putting together all the materials for the album, and it was a day when Beyonce came in, and then Aaliyah, and then Left Eye, and it was oh my God, we got to sit in a room with these women, and I remember thinking, gosh, that Beyonce, she's really pretty, very shy. I don't know.
I remember she sat on the floor. She kind of just sat on the floor and very quietly read her lines, and we should have bowed down, but we didn't know.
You're forgiven for that one time. I want to ask, what it was about Rachel and Tara that made them so good for these roles. I mean, we know, we've seen the movie, but I want you to say it.
I mean, look, both of them are so, you can't think of the parts without them being in it. And I mean, Tara came in with such a willingness to just be kind of open and melody and just, I mean, she just was so kind of game for whatever we, go this way and say, oh, I'm over here and now I'm over there. And she just would do it. And she came, I remember.
Guys, let's go over there then.
And I remember she came up with the run. She's like, I think it'd be funny if Melody ran with her arms up like this. Like she's a Muppet. We were like, awesome, that's great. And then Rachel just said, look, for the front woman of a band, she just has a quality where you feel like she's not giving you everything, she's holding a little bit back, there's a little bit of mystery to her. And she really draws you in, and we wanted somebody who felt very authentic, who felt like she was gonna have these strong beliefs at the beginning of the movie, and it's Rachel.
Thank you, Harry.
Just drown in those eyes.
Well, speaking of the band, Kay, I want to turn to you because, I mean, I have to say, I was shocked. I was standing, first of all, I was blessed to be standing right there watching, and I remembered every single word to every single song in a way that honestly surprised me how deep the music from this movie had burrowed into my soul. And I mean, what was it like for you to be performing these songs for the first time, in 15, 16 years?
Yeah. I have so many thoughts and feelings about it. It's really hard to wrap my head around one. When I came out to do Josie, I didn't come out to do Josie. I came out to do the voices of the Pussycats. So, and then by the time I got here, the woman who had been cast to do the voice was just had this incredible Janis Joplin voice, and people heard that voice and looked at Rachel and was just like, that ain't happening. So I mean, it's just you are a beautiful, rocking babe that, yeah, Rachel. But like the whiskey and cigarettes thing, I don't know. So I had come out to do the voices of the Pussycats, and when the other singer was, it just so happened that I got there as they were looking to replace the other singer. I just happened to be there. So it's a much longer story than that, but that's basically what happened. And so now, and at that time, I had an 11-month-old child who I just dropped off at college. So, yeah, a lot has happened while this movie has been busy becoming a cult favorite.
I mean, as everyone on the stage, you got a little emotional singing before. I mean, was it just like actually performing these songs in front of an audience for the first time?
I did not cry at rehearsal. When we were practicing these songs, I was not tearing up. But when I saw the reaction of you guys, it was, well... I mean, we really struggled with whether to do You Don't See Me because, it's a rock set, it's short, it's like just like crack them over the head with the rockers, but I knew through, living on this earth and not under a rock that people really love that song. And it's different from the others. So we decided to do it, and I'm so glad that we did because what we were getting back from you during that song was just, I don't know that, I'm gonna say something and it may sound like bullshit, I hope it doesn't because it's true, but I've never felt anything like that from an audience in my life, and I've been doing this for a long time, so thank you for that moment. It's just really special. Thanks.
I think this for everyone on this board right now feels the same. We all had like a really special place and heart for Josie and the Pussycats. I mean, Deb and Henri, you guys let us do what we wanted. Like, as directors, you let us create these characters with you guys. I mean, you let me hit my head like a sponge, like, I mean, we did a lot of funny things together. You let us create these characters together, and that's what made it legendary. And you came up with these amazing songs. And at first, when we had to get band practice, trust me, guys, I had no idea how to play the drums. She had no idea how to play the guitar. Rosario had no idea how to play the bass. And all of a sudden, they're like, all right, it was like, you have 8 hours a day, a couple months, you have to learn how to play these instruments. And I'm like, oh, we could do this. It's not so hard. I start getting drum lessons. I can't control my hands to my feet. It would be like, ba-dum, ba-dum. And they like, I think you guys probably got a phone call. But we might have a problem with Tara. She really can't be a drummer. She's terrible. Then one day, boom, we learned it. And then when we all went in rehearsal together, Rachel started rocking like the guitar. I finally learned the drums. And Rosario did the bass. And then like all of a sudden it was like so much fun, and we got pretty good at the moment. And our last scene in the movie that you'll see now, when we really did that, besides giving the free car away, but when we really did that, I remember thinking, man, this is such a better job. Why am I an actress? I should have totally been a rock star.
You're the most genuinely rock and roll of all of us. Seriously. And you still are. Like, it's true.
Rachel, I want to ask, one of the things that I think people really respond to in this film is the relationship between Josie, Val, and Melody. I mean, it feels so real and so genuine. And I'm curious, do you feel like that band camp helped solidify the three of you as sort of a trio?
Well, in my mind, completely. And the friendship that we formed during the course of that movie, I mean, everyone here who went to summer camp has those people who you don't keep in touch with. If you're lucky, you're Facebook friends, but in a very real way, those friendships do exist forever. And I
We had a
believe
really
that,
good
and
time,
I
if
need
you know
to
what I
believe
mean.
that, and yeah. I love these humans. It was such a good time. I get to have that forever, and I'm so grateful.
Absolutely. Something that's been said a lot, I mean, sometimes by me tonight, is that this movie was ahead of its time. It was. Harry, I was telling you this before. On the way here tonight, I drove past 3 UPS trucks with Taylor Swift's face on them, and I was like, this is Josie and the Pussycats. Like, this is what the movie was talking about. And it's still happening. It's happening all the time. I mean, when you hear the expression your movie was ahead of its time, do you wear that as a badge of honor?
What choice do we have?
I mean, I always say to Harry, it's going to be nice someday when we make something that's of its time, as opposed to appreciated many years later, because I'm getting old. So maybe the next thing. But, it's nice that, this has really been so beautiful, because to have worked so hard on something and then have it come out and make, 35 cents and be just decimated. We went into such a deep funk after that movie. We're like, oh, we don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard and everybody hates us. And throughout time, people, and some of them are in the audience, people who I've made friends with because they liked this movie and reached out, and and now it's all these years later, and I have a 13-year-old daughter who is wearing cat ears tonight, and Josie's guitar is sitting in her room, and it's still with us. I mean, I feel like we're in a really, we're in a weird time again, like we were then, in which up is down and down is up, and it's all, I miss when rock bands just came out and were who they were, and there weren't stylists, and Kay was downstairs doing her own makeup. That's how it should be.
Not my own hair. I borrowed Deb's lipstick. Actually, I borrowed Deb's daughter's lipstick. Thanks, Kiki.
But I think, what Tara said before is right. If this movie came in now, it'd probably be a very different thing. And we talked about this, but I think one of the reasons you maybe took a beat to know how many people love this movie was because Twitter didn't exist and Facebook didn't exist. Once social media sort of really became so prominent, you probably heard all the time from people who were like, I love this movie.
Yeah, not all the time, but it would come.
So you have to start tweeting at them more, is what he's saying.
But it would come up. It is where we first discovered that there was an audience beyond, the few people that we would meet and say, oh, I really like that movie. It would happen, but then suddenly through Twitter and social media, people would really start saying how important it was to them, and we'd hear stories. The coolest thing is to hear stories about, women who are fronting their own bands who picked up a guitar because they saw this movie.
I've done a lot of movies, and I've had more personal stories about this film that people have come up to me and said, I know this sounds a little crazy, but said, this movie changed my life. I got confidence in myself again. I became this. And you know how awesome that is to feel and to be a part of that? And it has been so many years later, and these stories don't change. And because of you beautiful people, that's why we're sitting on this stage right now. We thank you, and we love to be part of it. Maybe it's a little late, but at least the movie's getting appreciated now.
But at least before the advent of social media, Deb, you got to meet a big Josie and the Pussycats fan.
I did. Many years ago, when I was married, someone for our wedding gift took us to see U2. And we got to go backstage, and I got to meet Bono, who said, "Oh, I love that movie. You guys totally got it. You get what's going on." And of course, like immediately, like got in front of my husband, like, "Really? Tell me more, Bono." And yeah, I mean, every once in a while, somebody comes forward. Like I was reading the Fader article today, and someone said, "Oh, Pete Wentz went to go work with Babyface because he heard this record and wanted that sound." And to think like it influenced anybody at all, or anybody got it, is a real, like, it's so touching to us. It really is.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to add, yeah. I mean, as a story about the music industry, you know, I'm curious what you found particularly interesting or relevant about the movie.
Well, to me, you never saw the movie. I did see it in the theater. I bought the soundtrack. My mom bought the soundtrack. It's still in her car. Every time I go to Cape Cod and drive my mom's car, I'm like, still there in the visor. As a person who, I mean, I had just kind of like, I had just had a baby, so my band Letters to Cleo had recently broken up. And one of the things that was so funny to me was that it sort of like put rock bands in that sort of like NSYNC or Britney Spears box, which is like a place where rock bands did not dare to tread. Like for us, like I remember one time we were offered a Kool-Aid commercial, and I was like, we would never do that. And it was like, I mean, today I like calling, like looking up Kool-Aid in the phone. Kool-Aid, hello, can I? Do you want me to write you a song? You know? But at the time, it was like rock bands hadn't crossed over into that. And I think, I mean, I saw the writing on the wall for sure. I mean, the movie made a lot of sense to me, but I think in terms of the public, like they just hadn't seen that yet. Yeah. And, but they did pretty quickly thereafter, so.
I know, I mean, speaking of the product placement, it's such an amazing element of the movie that, I mean, almost every single scene of this film, with the exception, I think, of when they're in their home, has some product placement. I mean, I even tried to count.
Adidas is a new Puma, black is a new orange. Give me more.
I mean, it's an impressive feat of marketing that I was actually shocked to learn when you guys told me that nobody paid to be in this movie at all.
That's so crazy.
Like, that was the craziest thing to me.
No, let's set the record straight once and for all, because I think people looked at the movie and said, oh, you know, this is like the height of hypocrisy, because they put all these products in the movie. There's a Target airplane and the Steve Madden, and nobody who did the movie got paid.
Wow.
Really. We did get some T-shirts from Puma. Like in the concert, when everyone has to be wearing solid colors, Puma like kicked us some like T-shirts they couldn't sell because like one sleeve was like that. And but that's it. I mean, that's really it. Like, and there were companies who did not want to be involved. Like, I don't know if anyone is as old as we are, but there was a ad going on for Gap at the time. It was like everybody in denim, everybody in sweaters. It literally was like everybody wear the same fucking thing. And we had a joke that there was going to be a Josie ad, and it said everybody in leopard. And Gap saw the script and was like, oh, hell no. No, we're not going to do it. So it became that Steve Madden billboard.
It's actually, I don't think it's America Online, I think. It's when she looks up for the first time after the makeover, and she looks up and says, whoa, yeah, it was supposed to be a huge Gap ad. It kind of encapsulated the movie in one image, but they wouldn't let us do it.
Well, I want to ask, because we are inching towards screening time. I know. But, I mean, Kay, I'm going to start with you. I mean, what does it mean to you? I mean, you've created so much music that people love. This is one of those things. I mean, when you're up here tonight and you're seeing 16 years later, you know, people remembering this album that, for all intents and purposes, shouldn't be getting an awesome Mondo vinyl re-release like it is right now. But it is, you know, and that's because of the love. I mean, what does that mean to you that people have loved this music so much?
I've been hearing it all 16 years. There's not a week that goes, right now there's not a day, there's not an hour that goes by that I don't hear something about this. But I never stopped hearing about Josie and the Pussycats and how much people loved it. I guess because I was, I wasn't in the film, and
But you were in the film. But come on.
You were there.
I was there.
Yes.
And I don't say that I wasn't in the. I feel like I feel like I was a part of this, and I feel like I was a part of something really important. But I think because people reacted to the music so instantly. The Village Voice in New York did a glowing story about the soundtrack. I'm not sure if you remember this, but like 6 weeks after the movie came out, the Village Voice was doing, and it was like the only good review I ever got in the Village Voice, so that's why I remember it. But I've been hearing about this the whole time, so I'm not gonna say like I told you so, but Harry, I told you so. Shit's good.
Harry and Deb, I'm curious, this movie, obviously, as we've heard tonight, both from the screams and from the people up here, has meant a lot to a lot of people. What does that mean to you?
Look, that's why we do it. That's why you make a movie. Hopefully it'll connect with an audience. And, it would have been nice if it had gotten whatever acclaim that we thought it should have at the time. But for 16, 17 years later, to have this many people feel so passionately about it, that means the world. That's really, and I thank you so sincerely. Because it really is, for us, it's really rewarding. And again, I can't tell you how grateful I am for all of you people for being here and for enjoying the movie for all these years. And we heard you singing the song. You knew all the words to the songs. It was amazing.
But can I thank Mo?
You can do whatever you would like.
So, you guys, the reason this all came about is there's one man from Austin, Texas, named Mo Shafeek, who DM'd me on Twitter and was like, I want to talk to you about an opportunity. I was like, no, thank you. And then he said, I work for a record label. I work for Mondo Records, and you guys know that's the Alamo Drafthouse. And he said, I wanted to do a 15-year anniversary record of Josie. And he tried and tried and tried to sell it, and no one was buying, and he finally got enough to do 17 years. And this literally is all because of him. He did the entire thing. He got it all organized. So just thank you to Mo.
Come on out.
Oh my God!
Rosario Dawson! Rosario Dawson's in the house! What a night, guys, what a night.
Don't go anywhere. Well, now we just have to start this all over again. Hi, Rosario. Hi. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Good, we have seats. Everybody have a seat? We're good.
Now the band is back together.
All right, I'll put it on Twitter or something.
I don't know if y'all have seen this movie, but there's like a whole thing about Valerie feeling left out.
You didn't know.
And I was in I was in Palo Alto and like flying, and then everything. It was like the plane was delayed for some gas thing, and then I landed here and the driver wasn't there, and I was like, what's happening?
You're here.
I even tweeted about it. I was talking some shit. I was like, I thought that the panel was gonna be after the screening. And I was gonna like just coast in and watch the movie and then.
But you made it, and that's what matters.
I can't believe I missed the performance.
We'll do it again.
I saw a video. My mom's out here somewhere talking to fans and sending me videos. I've been getting updates and seeing all you beautiful people. Where is she? There's Mommy. Hi, Mom. So thank you. I've literally had folks going like, she's gonna make it, you're gonna get here. I was like, yes, it's gonna happen.
Well, welcome.
Go team.
We're so happy right now. I have no idea.
I mean, this is the first time the three of you have been together since when?
A long time.
Josie and the Pussycats.
No, but like really a long time. Like individual, like pretty much, but like press
the
and like.
three of us, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
well, no, not
exactly.
just the premiere, but we did a bunch of like we went to Cancun, which was something.
We forgot. I shouldn't have forgot about that one, huh, guys?
No, we hung out a couple times. Like I remember going to your party, there was some like thing, and then I remember like we almost got in that weird car accident when we were hanging out that time with that. Remember? It was crazy. Whatever.
First sidekick.
It's crazy. Whatever. It's cool. Let's just leave it in the past. It's fine. Made it. We're here. Yeah, go team. We all survived. We're all here. It's great. And you went blonde again. You never know. She was wearing.
Out, and it's a long story.
No, it's beautiful. But when we were filming, they kept dyeing her hair red, and she was not having it because it was terrible. So then we ended up getting her a wig, and then she cut her hair and made it bleached, and it was so punk rock, and it was so dope. And then she'd put a red wig on every day, and we were like, "You're like a double rocker."
I didn't mean to cut it off. It all fell off in the sink because I wanted it to look like Storm from X-Men, and it's not an option for me, apparently.
Rosario, I wanna ask.
Try things. Just try it.
I asked, everybody's talked about their first impressions of this movie. I mean, what is it about Josie and the Pussycats that you think has made it so enduring for everyone in this room and everyone else who couldn't make it tonight for 16 years?
I mean, talk about visionary. There's been so many moments where I remember like years back now, but there was some concert I was hearing about that Britney Spears was at, and she literally had people chanting Pepsi and spelling it out. It was like, give me a P and an E, and like a whole thing. This is pre-Pepsi revolutionary, obviously, but. But. C'est génial.
That's right. And what about Val? I mean, that's a character that really like brought this trio together. For you, what was it about her that spoke to you?
Valerie? Talking about?
The bass.
Come on. It was so amazing. I mean, it was, I loved the comics, I loved the show, I loved the music that we were coming up with and the collaboration. I loved the duo, the dynamic duo who was coming together, which also doesn't happen very often. And just the vision for it and the understanding of like not just making an homage, but trying to make a really great movie about pop culture and about music and about musicians and about the environment and the media and everything. Like it was a very particular moment in time. And I think they had almost an approach that felt like an indie film perspective, but in a big commercial, which made sense because it's indie music. This is an indie little punk rock band. And it was cool to have that sensibility brought to life in this space that allowed it, the exploration of it. And it was just really dope and really smart. And I got to hang out and work with these wonderful ladies in Vancouver. And just, I was 21, and I was just like, this is so fun. And we just had a blast. I'm so sorry, I totally didn't, I was talking over you. What were you saying?
She said bus pass.
What?
How we shared a bus pass.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
This is like, by the way, like I found the bracelet that you gave us. Remember we had that little bracelet?
That was me,
And this
but,
was
you know.
back like when we did this.
Do you still have it?
I do, I found it. What was it? Wait, was it the two-way pager thing? We had the two-way
yes, that
pager
was
thing, the
Tara.
sidekick. That was
That
it,
was
the two-way
all
pager.
Tara.
That was all Tara.
Sidekick, it wasn't a
Sidekick. It was a two-way. Oh, because I keep thinking Motorola
Just
two-way
because you were
pager.
just
Give it
hanging
to
out with
me.
Jay-Z
Yeah,
and you
sorry.
did the first one of that. Come
I
on
know.
now.
I just think about, that Denny's, man. Some memories in that Denny's.
They probably never want to see us again.
Ever. It was like the only place to go to across the
Someone
street.
across the street, best Italian restaurant ever.
That and then the Slutton Palace, remember? There was like the hotel where I had at this little bar.
The Sutton Place.
The Sutton Place, but we called it the Slutton Palace because, because they had like, there was a certain time of night where like the clientele changed and you were like, oh, you're working.
We would tell them, we were like, no, guys, we're just going to the bar to memorize our lines. I swear to God, we're just going to work on this scene together. Meanwhile, cut to, whatever, we were eating nice barbecue wings.
Among other things.
I'll keep it at that.
Okay, sorry, that sounds. Mom's here, stop it, guys. Be chill.
Mom was with
The
us.
sure
Who
is
kidding?
not here, right? This is not about backdoor love or any of that kind of stuff, so slow your roll.
Now that Rosario brings it up, I have to. How did you get the song "Backdoor Lover" into this movie? Oh my God!
Right?
And
Coming
not
from behind
only
with the
into
lights down
movie,
low.
but
Come
have,
on!
all those 13-year-old extra girls in the opening singing it.
Double entendre.
I mean, where did that come from?
When you looked and you saw the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, it was like some of them are doing it. Like there's just no way. Right? I mean, it had to be. There was always one ambiguous guy in the group who's clearly in love with someone else in the group. And honestly, we were like, let's write the dumbest lyrics anyone could possibly write. Like, nobody rocks the mic like du jour, ride on your motorbike with du jour. Like, it made no sense. And then you're like, no, it's perfect. We don't need to, it's just go with it. And Kenny got these two guys. There's two guys who came in and sang all 4 parts. And I wish I remembered their names. They were flawless.
One of them was named Brains.
Brains, yes, with a Z.
Brains with a Z. Yeah.
Brands?
Brains, like brains.
Oh,
Yeah,
brains.
Brains.
Okay.
I don't know. I tried to get du jour here tonight. You guys really did.
Du jour means family!
Seatbelts.
Do you understand? I say so many lines from this movie on a regular basis. I talk about tree torns.
I understand. I tried to have all of you carried in here like you were arriving at Fiona's party by 4 men, but they said it wasn't in the budget, so.
Regularly, this is one of, I don't know about you guys. So pretty and popular.
Give it a Parker
time.
Posey.
All the time. At least once a week, probably. People would be like, oh, my phone's ringing off the hook. So pretty and popular. Oh, I'm so overwhelmed with work. I got so many emails to go through. They're pretty and popular. I say it all the time, just saying. Gems. This movie's full of gems.
I understand. I've literally never heard someone say the word Pringles without hearing Tara go, Pringles! It's just it just happens.
I always go to the bathroom before I have to go, even when I don't have to go.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in this room and at that room and this room all at the same time.
I mean, I have to ask, they were saying they haven't been, what is it like to see the 3 of them together again after all this time?
I'm so excited because we were downstairs and everybody was warming up and Mo came up to me. He's like, listen, I heard Rosario might come. I was like, are you kidding me? And because I think I DM'd you 5 times on Instagram and then on Twitter. And then I knew someone who was working with you in Boston. I was like, can you ask Rosario if she's coming? And I had honestly all but given up. And when you just walked out there, I was like, ah!
Me too.
This was like the weirdest, insane moment. I have not taken this kind of time off in like multiple years, but I was in Africa just so you guys know, I'm sorry, we're catching up. I was in Africa for a month in like 3 different countries, and then Burning Man, and then I was in Esalen, and I was taking nonviolent communications course. So basically this summer has been about 6.5, almost 7 weeks of like no reception. And then I came out and I saw an email going, there's a reunion. I was like, oh my God, must make it happen. And I had this thing, speaking engagement, talking about it's like, I need to get it back. Exactly, all of that to say, I love you guys. Would move heaven and earth to be together. I love you. I'm glad you guys talk slow, or you guys went over, or whatever happens.
Yeah, you're never gonna watch the movie
supposed
tonight.
to be
I
off
think
the
it's
stage
over by
already.
now.
I literally actually put out a tweet that was like a little shitting, like, I thought it was gonna happen, and sad face. I did. I was like, so, Ran, love you.
Well, I feel like I want to ask you what it is about these people and this movie that made you Amazing Race your way here tonight.
This was just like a really special experience. I'll never forget, I was a huge fan of your work. And here I kind of came in totally feeling like my character, like, can I play with you guys? The big old target on me, literally, no. And I'll never forget, we were doing this one scene where we were outside. We were doing that big final concert scene where we had all it was like 70, there was so many people. It was so crazy. And we step outside and we're all talking, and all of a sudden, your both eyes get really big, and you're like, let's go back inside. I'm like, what's happening? Because there was just all these extras were around, and they were just touching my ears, my cat ears, and tugging on my tail and playing with the sparkles in my hair. And they were like, yeah, this is weird. And I wasn't paying any attention because I just thought it was hair and makeup. Like, we're just getting touched up. Because I'm too busy, like, enraptured in anything, like, we're in conversation, like, we're hanging out. And they're like, no, let's go back inside. And we just had some really, I have to say, being on location with these wonderful people. And there was just a magic, there was a moment that happened there. We really bonded, we really talked. We talked about everything from massive shits in the toilet to putting pancakes on your hand to put butter on, to hair dyeing and like crazy moments and boys and just life and just careers and just projections and just experience and just wants and dreams. And it was really, really special and beautiful. And I revisit that time in my life often. And just like amazing moments with Sarah and Alan and just everybody. And just that, it was a really special time when we were all jamming out and just playing the music and trying so hard and just to get it right, because we knew how important it was to everybody. And it felt really good to be doing something that we really loved, that was special for us, but also we knew special for other people. And I'm just so glad, because it found its audience over time. And every time someone comes up and says something about the film, I'm actually really happy about it. And that's not always the case when someone brings up some old movie. You're like, can we not talk about that? That's not, I'm always like, really? It's Charmaine's family, bring it in, So, had to be here because I was so panicking. I was like, oh my God, Valerie's getting left out for real. I can't do that. That's not okay. We did not all these years later, and then this happened. So, whew, universe provides. Universe provides.
Well, I think on that beautiful note, I'm going to say thank you to Rachel and to Rosario and to Tara and to Kay and to Hanley and Deborah for this movie. Thank you to all of you for coming tonight. I mean, yeah. So a couple of quick things before the movie. One, make sure you check Mondo's Twitter because as Deborah said, they're gonna be auctioning things off for hurricane relief from tonight, so please donate. Second of all, this is a movie. There is no talking and there is no texting, but you know what? There is fucking singing, so do that, okay? And lastly, once again, thank you all so much and please enjoy Josie and the Pussycats.